All right, what's going on? We are going to check out Gigguk's Best of Anime 2025 because I think it's going to actually serve two functions. It's a video to react to, and since I react to anime all the time on YaBoyRocklee, not this channel, the main channel, it's going to cover my thoughts of I could do my video, or I can react alongside your video and then give my take on each one of those shows if I've seen those. And it also gives me an idea of the kind of gems I have potentially missed. So anyway, let's go through this. Shout out to my homie Shadow out there in the community who recommended this video. If you guys have dope videos to recommend, the YouTube comment section is appropriate. But the best way to reach me is actually on Twitter, specifically for the function of being able to bookmark the things that you guys suggest. Right here is when I have dope clips and I'm like, yo, I want to save that. You know what I mean? And I can see like the pictures and stuff like that. It really makes details nice. Someone did this. It was a trailer. Boom. And I'm like, all right, this is dope. You know, I can't visually see anything in the YouTube comment section. I just see names and titles, but I don't see the juicy stuff like this. So use that. My YouTube, my Twitter is YaBoyRocklee. You guys know that. Let's jump into it.
"2025 was a year of turbulent times, uncertain futures, but if there was one thing that could rely on to pull through, of course, it was anime."
It's funny how One Punch Man's meme made it there.
If there was any doubt over anime's position in the world, 2025 has undoubtedly proven it is not just popular, but there are titles that can achieve full-blown mainstream success.
Oh yeah,
Demon Slayer became not only the highest-grossing anime movie of all time, but broke into the top 10 grossing movies of the year.
Insane.
Beating out such IPs as How to Train Your Dragon and frickin' Superman? This movie's of the year. Beating out such IPs as How to...
Oh, I didn't realize the live action for How to Train a Dragon was already out. Okay.
Train Your Dragon and frickin' Superman?
Yeah, beating Superman is crazy.
Man,
that's crazy. You gotta understand how big that is. I think more of the world knows who Superman is. Like, majority of the world's population, I shouldn't say majority, but more of the world's population has to know who Superman is. Yet, Demon Slayer beat it, which I think is less in comparison to Superman. I can't prove it, just what I think, just my gut instinct. People that don't know anime should not know Demon Slayer. But if you don't know superheroes, you typically wouldn't know of Superman, you would have known of Batman, you would have known of Spider-Man. Them three right there is going to be the top. Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. I think Superman and Batman are pretty much equal. Not in terms of favorite, in terms of who knows who. And Demon Slayer beat that. What that tells me is the niche that knows of Demon Slayer is stronger. They are more loyal. So right now, as of today's video, Demon Slayer fans are more loyal than Superman fans, in my opinion. Because Superman has to have more fans than Demon Slayer, but they fake fans. Oh, it's not my Superman. Oh, it's not the Schneider version. Oh, it's not Henry Cavill. Fake!
Absolute spectacle that delivered the Demon Slayer experience I expected, but damn did it feel long. I think about an hour in, I left to go pee, managed to find time to finish my college degree, got a job, started a family, came back, and I think we're about halfway through the Yakuza flashback. But they weren't the only one in the headlines, because One Punch Man fans ate this year.
Yeah.
They collectively threw up. After 6 years of waiting, One Punch Man dropped a bomb not even Oppenheimer could recreate. Giving us a season of animation so impressive, Google Slides is about to license it out as an add-on. History has taught us that everything good comes in threes. We've had the big three of World War II, the big three of colleges, the big three of tennis, the big three of shonen, and now, this year has finally given us the big three of frames. As the community responded to this failure on a scale anime had not seen before, Berserk fans could only helplessly watch this unfold on the sidelines like,
hey, you wanted this, right? You wanted the real deal? That's what this is. Wake up, you're in the middle of it. Stop complaining.
This was the year.
Wait a second.
You wanted the real deal? That's what this is. Wake up, you're in the middle of it. Stop complaining.
This was the good year editing. 2 letters shot fear into anyone that heard them. AI.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology!
Oh my god.
And the anime community was not immune to its effects. We had masses of fake scenes posted with the release of Sora 2. Grok got its own AI companion, as if people weren't lonely enough. And of course, OpenAI allowed users to flood the internet with Ghibli AI drawings. Looking Miyazaki right in the eye and thinking, man, I don't think you hate anime enough yet. And if you're like me and just realized that all this happened within the space of 1 year, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, a lot has happened.
Being on the internet felt exhausting at some points this year, and the online landscape was as confusing as ever to navigate. We needed hope. We needed positivity. We were yearning for some real human interaction.
Oh, God. The Frieren and Sasuke. Yeah! Speaking Frieren. What is wrong with the internet, man?
Raise your hands up! I beg of you!
I don't understand why this is popular.
Don't be afraid!
Wait. Goku being desperate is always iconic. Come on! I need your energy! There's no time left! Man, it's dramatic.
Hands up! I beg of you! There's no time left! Don't be afraid!
There's never any time left.
Very good man! Offer up your energy!
But the year ended with actual
Ridiculous.
people united under one banner. One drawing a Frieren with a chin so chopped she could withstand an uppercut from Mike Tyson. The voice actor for Frieren changed it to her profile picture as artists all around the world came together to help draw her in a rare case of all-around positivity being spread online. This was the alive human theory. Real human-to-human interaction. No bots, no AI, just sheer determination to pick up a pencil and the will to follow what we knew Himmel the hero would do.
Himmel the hero.
Proving the strongest AI slop can still be defeated by the weakest pencil user.
What a logic, the weakest pencil person. That's crazy.
This is the part where I normally get to my honorable mentions, but today I have something else I need to mention honorably, and that's today's
advertising it.
Arknight's Enfield. The wait is finally over. I've talked about it.
Oh, that actually looks
streamed
good.
the beta, and now with over 30 million global pre-registrations under its belt, Arknight's Enfield global launch is now upon us. But just in case you
That
haven't
actually
had the
looks
release date
fire.
in your calendar and counting down the days since they first announced it like I have, let me fill you in.
Yeah,
Arknight's
please.
Enfield is a 3D real-time strategy RPG where you command a team of 4 operators of diverse classes and skills to take down powerful enemies. Being a spin-off of Arknights, Enfield carries forward the cinematic storytelling and stylized aesthetic of the original. That means incredible cutscenes, dripped-out character designs, and everything we loved about its presentation. But now you can experience all those great things while exploring a varied selection of dynamic world environments. Whether it's the industrial landscapes of Valley 4 or the Wuling region's blend of traditional aesthetics and future designs, each is full of different missions and unique challenges whilst you gather resources and transform the world itself through factory building mechanics. And during the release celebration, not only will you have a chance to pull for the 6-star characters Levatane, Gilberta, and Yvonne, but you also get a whole bunch of rewards through in-game events. This includes up to 135 free pulls, 2 6-star weapon selection crates, the 6-star operator Ardalia, and the 6-star weapon Dreams of Starry Beach. So if that sounds as great to you as it does to me, Arknight's Enfield is available now on PS5, PC, and mobile. So check out that link in the description to download the game today.
Nice.
Thank you again to Arknight's Enfield for sponsoring us today, and with that said, here are the actual honorable mentions. If this is your first time here, I rarely put continuations of shows I've already talked about on previous lists unless it really goes above and beyond and gives me something new to say about it. But that doesn't mean I didn't continue enjoying them. DanDaDan might not have gotten the same buzz that episode 7 provided, but I've really enjoyed the character-focused development we got.
Agreed on that one. I actually feel like I like this season. No, second season, I think I liked more. Actually, they stay consistent. I'm not gonna say nothing.
The weirdness or the
flashy
action, but this shit is doing romance better than most romance
Yes, it
anime
is.
right now. About a year ago,
Yes,
I
it
introduced
is.
my anime illiterate mum to Apothecary Diaries, so I thought
My wife started watching Apothecary Diaries.
I'd be a loving son this year and save myself from watching season 2 until the Christmas break so I can experience it with her. By
Aww.
which point, she had already watched it 4 times. She still doesn't even know its name. She just calls it Mau Mau. City, the animation really did it.
Yeah, that sounds like some real parents. My mom will still call an Xbox a Nintendo. Ain't nothing has advanced since a Nintendo. Everything is a Nintendo.
About its name being in my top 3 of best animated shows of the year that was so close to making the list, but just didn't quite meet the same level of unhinged, gut-busting laughter Nichijou gave me. Now if we're talking most unhinged show this year, that was Nukitashi. I would love to talk about this one more. But the amount of frames I'd be able to get away showing here would equal that of an episode.
Oh, I gotta add this on my watch list. Whether I react to it, we react to it, I just watch it. Who knows, man? Man, last time he had some dope picks, And the Patreon community was not interested in it. Boring taste, man. Boring taste. I actually ended up a Wild Boss Appeared, which is fire. So I'm not actually mad. It's fire, man. But there was some good shows, man. There was a show. Oh, I can't say they're good. I don't know if they're good because I haven't watched it. But there was a dog that was interested in some girl. That was cool. And there was another one where it was your sister. My friend's little sister was interested in me or something like that. Okay, that's a fire plot point, and it looked degenerate as hell. But people didn't want to pick that. Boring.
Episode of One Punch Man 3. Solo leveling. Now I know you're going to ask me about this, so let me just set the record straight.
And the anime award goes to...
Oh, he made it. He made it.
Sung Jin-woo from Solo Leveling.
I like Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is a series that knows exactly what it is. It does one thing, but does that one thing so exceedingly well, you do not care about anything else.
Yes.
And this season delivered some of the best power fantasy or farming action spectacle you can find, and I ate it up. But that doesn't also mean I think it's the best anime. Or has the best main character.
Agreed.
To me, this is not a 3-star Michelin dish. It is a McDonald's chicken nugget, but the best fucking nugget you've tasted in your life. And who wants to live in a world without nugs?
Nice.
That's a great way of explaining it too.
A movie at the top of the list. Thankfully, this year was so stacked with choices, I didn't need to do that again. But if I did, 2 titles would definitely be making the list. Chainsaw Man lived up to the absolute cinema meme it originally started. This wasn't just another shonen movie adaptation. It was a perfectly crafted cinematic experience. And I think this says a lot, that for how much jaw-dropping, mind-blowing action sequences this movie delivered on, the
emotionally it hit.
Pool scene is the one my mind always comes back to. But standing toe-to-toe with that, in my eyes, is 100 meters. If Chainsaw Man was that critically acclaimed blockbuster, 100 meters would be that Oscar-nominated indie movie with moments equally as breathtaking and cinematic.
Oh, cinematic, yes!
Cinema. This is a film about running. About people whose lives are about running. You see people who destroy their lives over obsessions, over chasing records, chasing achievements, sacrificing everything, only to wonder what the point of it all was to begin with. You see people unable to fully commit to themselves in fear of finding out they're not as good as they think they are, crafting a prison of their own anxieties they're unable to break out of.
Prison of their own anxieties.
You see people so desperately searching for meaning in what they do, unsure if they live to run or run to live. People who've always been second best yet still have not given up on believing in themselves, breaking the reality life has crafted for them, and then halfway through the movie you take a step back and think, wait, we're still talking about running, right?
Yeah.
This movie doesn't just speak to the soul, it goddamn drags it out, shakes it by the scruff of its neck, and shouts full volume at it. Somebody, somewhere is going to find this movie at the right time of their lives, and there's going to be a line uttered by a character in here that shoots so deeply to their core, they're going to switch their life into manual mode after having lived it on auto the entire time.
True. I want to be clear. I think it's a cinematic masterpiece. It's just that I prefer things like the Chainsaw movie, a little bit more fast paced. When it comes to the way they drew things, I was like, I don't think I've seen anything drawn better than 100 meters. That's what I'm like. If you watch anime, which you obviously do, you're like, yo, this is crazy. If you don't have any anime experience, you're just probably wouldn't appreciate it. And this came right after the time of seeing One Punch Man Season 3. So I'm like, God dang, I know what terrible graphics looks like. And they are cooking, man. You just have to appreciate what people do. But as far as the overall product, I'm going to prefer something like Chainsaw Man so much more that I wouldn't even put them in the same list. Oh, a whole lot of people just attack me. But like, when you try to figure out like what let me tell you something. There's a couple movies I haven't watched. And there's a homie that was asking me in Discord. Sometimes I don't give you guys complicated answers because when I write, I sound like an asshole, to be honest with you. So sometimes I'm just going to tell you I don't know. You know, I'm just going to say I don't know, man. It's too complicated. So there's a lot of anime cinematic masterpieces which can convert to regular other movies. But there's a lot of cinematic masterpieces I haven't particularly seen. I said, yo, why? Everyone says this is goated or whatever, man. It's like, yeah, man, but I don't know. You put a homie with a couple of explosions and a girl who connects with his heart. And, you know, it's kind of toxic, but it turns into something wholesome. Blah, 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 blah. She tried to kill him, but he ain't going to stop loving her anyways. That's just going to get me, man. That's just going to get me. And sometimes that will be the one that has a deep poetic message. But there was something that Gigguk said that was spitting. He was like, yo, it has to hit you at the right time of your life. Or he says somebody is in a particular moment in their life. And I'm like, yo, that's true. Because things like Konosuba, I didn't enjoy season 1 and 2 of Konosuba very much, but I enjoyed season 3 of Konosuba so freaking much. But I don't think the actual story has changed. I changed. So sometimes, depending on where you are, in life or whatever, you can. For Konosuba, I understand Japanese culture or Japanese jokes or the concept of a harem, the tropes that Konosuba makes fun of. I understand that now as of season 3, where in season 1, when they're making fun of the tropes, I don't know those are tropes to begin with. Recommending Konosuba to a first-time isekai person, in my opinion, is a terrible idea. People will just give you the peak before you have what it takes to digest that peak. So, for me, that's probably what's lacking with the 100 meters, for me specifically. But I actually recognize that it is a masterpiece. Zaga!
I feel like if you watch enough anime, so many of them don't just start looking the same, but also start to feel the same.
Yeah.
Gachiakta spits on that, taking pre-established conventions and says, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. This is set in the world of trash. Taste. But unlike the latter, there is absolutely nothing garbage flavor about presenting one of the most insane worlds Shonen has to offer. Have a look at these characters. Now, unless you've already seen them, you might not be able to tell that these are 5 characters
that are different from each other.
From 5 completely different shows.
Yeah.
They're the same picture.
Now take one character from Gachiakta. Not only will you never be able to mistake the show they're from, but their style, their attitude, how they carry themselves, everything about them screams expression that you know exactly what type of personality they have. Now multiply that by all the minor characters you'll ever see. Gachiakta has a design philosophy that permeates every single aspect of the show, creating a visual language with a vibe that is absolutely unmatched. Neon lights flood the back alleys. The streets are crude and gritty, with a stench that almost permeates through the screen. Graffiti plasters every wall you walk past. The world doesn't just feel lived in. Every little detail exudes a sense of character that communicates a story to you without having to utter a single word. The author teamed up with a real graffiti artist to help craft the art behind it, which just adds that layer of authenticity to its visual identity. And also, just look at her. She's a character in her own world.
Yeah, she's
then you have the power system. It's trash. Parentheses affectionate. Having a system where objects treated with love and care are imbued with powers is not only original, but serves as another vehicle for characters to express themselves. It's the only show where you'll see characters use scissors, umbrellas, gloves, hair cones, and glasses as weapons, but then you start to wonder, why is that object this character's vital instrument? What does that say about their personality,
I like
their backstory?
that.
Which
I like
objects do I have that define me? It's
yes.
Like this that feed
yes. This is exactly how I started to appreciate it the same way.
Possibilities it opens up, and that's what I felt watching Gachiakta in its entirety. It might not be the most polished shonen of our generation or have a story that pushes it to new boundaries, yet I constantly found myself hitting that next episode just so I could spend a bit more time in the insane world it created.
For me, I was like, yo, what's my item gonna be? Is it gonna be my chain? Is it gonna be, hold on. Was it gonna be one of my rings? Was it gonna be my wedding ring? I feel like it's, I have a belt buckle. And I think it's actually gonna be my phone. My phone would be the item. And you think about why and what it means to you. All the self-reflection that he came down to. And then I was trying to think of the powers that the item would grant, you know? The chain has its own thing, the phone. But I feel like the phone is always gonna be my thing because it just is what it is. But you're like, yeah, this was important to me, and this is how I see my abilities being manifested. It did that for me. I like it. Oh shit, oh yeah, I remember that.
And what is it that brings them here?
Fantasy is the double-edged sword of the anime world. Swing one side and you have some of the most critically acclaimed, beloved shows in the entire medium respected by everyone who watches them. But swing the other side and you're greeted with some of the trashiest, stinkiest shows you can find in the medium.
Online?
And I'm not talking about the Gachiakta kind. So when a new fantasy anime comes out, I'm always thinking, which side is this one gonna swing? Alright, looks like we've got some hyper-violent action. Could be edgy, could be mature, unsure. Oh hey, there's proper thought put into the world building and politics, so it's not just the same copy-paste Demon Lord fantasy world that swings that way. Okay, the hero's been given an immortal body. Sounds like this could potentially be power fantasy-ish. Yeah, that's a little stinky. But then, I watch as the hero yeets herself off a cliff, leaving just her mangled corpse remaining, only to have her body parts grotesquely shoved back into place as you hear the crackling of bones over the most guttural scream of pain as her body is forcibly put back together little by little, while the bandits around her can only watch on in horror.
One is excited.
Little by little, while the bandits.
One is excited in the back. He's like, "Yo, this shit is crazy." Two of them are like that.
Around her can only watch on in horror, and it was this moment that I realized, oh, I'm in.
Approved.
Cleaver-Test is the kind of brutal dark fantasy show I've been missing. Not a full-on masterpiece like Berserk, but just a fun show that takes itself just seriously enough. You have a protagonist that is heroic and kicks ass without being annoyingly idealistic or stupidly overpowered. Also, she has an eye patch. The world and power system isn't just copying off every other power fantasy out there. The protagonist has an eye patch. The violence is gratuitous while being purposeful and setting the tone of the story.
The protagonist has an eye patch.
What could have turned into an edgy fantasy, slavery, prostitution, but then you're reminded that anime can actually treat these subjects with the weight that they deserve. It's not always for the faint of heart, but it's the kind of grungy 90s fantasy show anime hasn't seen in a long time.
She's got a goddamn eye patch.
I can't move on either, to be honest with you. I accept that. Cleaver-Test was fire. Fire show. Fire show.
You ever see a new parent and how their eyes light up when talking about their kids?
You talk about
they
medalists?
show you a million
This is
photos
ridiculous.
of the same pose. They brag about the smallest achievement their kid was able to do. You feel a sense of pride you've never felt before towards anything else when they speak. That's what watching Medalists makes you feel like. This is a show about ice skating, but it's also a show about role models and the rewards of what being a great role model can get you. Inori is an 11-year-old girl who's been told she's too old to enter the figure skating world. She's shy, insecure, and collects worms for a hobby. This girl is going to get absolutely destroyed in school. But just by finding one person that believes in her, she's able to see something in herself that she never could before, shine in a way she never believed, and you're invited to be a part of that transformation. Medalist grabs you with grounded, well-realized characters all around, doing something revolutionary by treating its child characters like normal
children
characters. Because did you know? Normal people too. When you think about it, it's kind of fucked up how much your life insecurities and self-image are defined by a few early moments in your life.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
a teacher
true.
said that you were dumb, and then from then on, you just accept that as a fact. Or maybe, hypothetically, you were told your hair looks silly, so you start spiking it up like fucking Sasuke. Or a friend said you were boring, so you buy this Scarface poster to pretend like you have a personality. Or you look like a nerd with glasses, so you start wearing contacts every day. So seeing someone who was able to be set on the correct path because they found the right person, found the right role model, spoke to a part of my younger self that might not have gotten that same opportunity. Every small achievement, every small step they take becomes a collective win. And when they pull through and hit that complete triple axel after numerous falls, you'll be shedding tears like a proud dad telling the person next to you, "That's my kid. Yeah, that's my kid."
It wasn't even Medalist. It was actually Gigguk's words that got to me. When I was a kid, I was always said that I was selfish and I only cared about myself. And I used to resist that, you know? I used to resist that. And long story short, I was like, instead of resisting it and this person just throwing it in my face, I'm just going to accept it. And I did. More or less, my dad said I was good for nothing all the time, but I'm actually not good for nothing. But like the point is, there was a part of me where it's like, I don't have to please these people. I don't have to worry about what these people think. Because unfortunately, worrying about what they think affected my psyche in a negative way. So that made me a version of myself. I shouldn't say that made me because I'm accountable for my own decisions, but I became a version of myself that I wasn't really proud of. Literally going into like 3 years ago, man. Yeah. It just took a lot of self-reflecting, being in a position where you're no longer in survival mode, because I had been in survival mode for a long time, to start making that reflection. But yeah, man, that I didn't really think about it, the words that were said to me, because he said it at a young age. Someone says something to you, and it just sticks. But you don't even count. You don't. It's easy to count that. Oh, they said I was worthless, so I became worthless, right? Because I didn't do that for sure. But they kept saying I was worthless, so I had to evolve into a type of individual who won't care that they call me worthless. I could have evolved where I strive to do things, make society accept me, and they won't perceive me as worthless. That was one way. But I was like, nah, I think that's another reason I like villains and all the other 9 yards. Because like if I'm this type of person, no one would have these positive expectations of me, and then that's it. Now you won't harass me with it. Ah, Summer Hikaru died. Fire.
Horror is one of those genres anime rarely gets right. On one hand, I think the medium makes it harder to get genuine scares compared to its live-action counterparts, but then one too many times we get a promising project like Uzumaki that took a bit too much inspiration from its source material and spiraled its own production into madness. It's faith, but thankfully the summer Hikaru died not only restored that, but has set the bar of how anime can achieve horror of the highest quality.
Yes.
So you may be wondering, what's so different about this one?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
I'd heard so many great
I'm glad you just start off by saying he's gay. Because let's face it, that was a nice little spice to the show that I actually appreciated. And it was how they made use of it. You know what I mean? Like these two homies is interested, bro. Like whatever they're doing, like they're saying whatever, but them boys is gay. And it's okay. They were, but they weren't just they weren't just being gay. They were like being suggestive about being gay. And it's like, but there's something printing next to me, so it started scaring me as I'm doing this. Like, what the hell is this sound? Because I didn't press print. My family must have did it. So anyways, I enjoyed that part of the story because of the suggestiveness that went alongside of it. Technically, I think you could have got the same execution from a heterosexual depiction. I'm just speaking frank. Bear with me. But there was something, because I'm a little immature. So I'm immature. I'm not like everybody else. It made me laugh. It was humor. Because I was like, yo, if it was a guy and a girl, I would not be as surprised as much, you know? And it's like, of course, this guy and girl is doing that. You know what I mean? But because they're two male friends, you're like, yo, are they? No, I don't think they are. Yeah, what do you mean by that, son? Yeah, what do you mean by that? There was that little extra part that got added because it's not a relationship that I am used to seeing depicted, you know? I have to always choose my words as I'm navigating this subject, but yeah, I liked it.
I watched the anime knowing nothing about it. I wanted to go in raw, and apparently, so did they. And within the first few
That's exactly what I'm talking about! That's exactly what I'm talking about, man! That's funny.
Nothing about it. I wanted to go in raw, and apparently, so did they. And within the first few minutes, it's evidently clear how the show succeeds where so many others have faltered. Almost immediately, you are drawn in with this eerie sense of dread that crawls under your skin and doesn't let up. Every scene oozes a sinister air as thick as the summer humidity you're watching on screen. It's not about jump scares. It's the ghastly imagery that gives you a peek into the eldritch horrors that lay beneath the shadows.
I agree.
Horrific entities brought to life with haunting arts that make the hair on the back of your neck stand. Atmosphere is why this is a masterclass of animated horror. Behind all that, though, is a succinct exploration of grief and love between two bros that is 100% undeniably, categorically platonic.
So gross. Oh, so...
Undeniably, categorically platonic.
So gross. Oh, so good.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
He's so straight, he's about to have sex with another man, so he knows what the woman he goes on dates with will feel like. Because you know, when you have a Lovecraftian nightmare creature wearing the skin of your dead friends, you first gotta figure out so many things. What is it? Is it dangerous? Does it come in peace? Or just you?
You know, maybe Michael's gay, maybe he's not. He is.
I love Modern Family, by the way. Fire show.
China
has continually been on the rise in the animation space.
China.
I was like,
Has
what are we
continually
doing?
been on the rise in the animation space.
Link
And this
click.
year, it really felt like there was always at least one show per season that stood out in the
Oh, that's a
highly
Chinese show too? I always see this. I have no idea what this is. Every so often, it circulates about hands, and like, yo, they just do hands. I have no idea what that show is.
Animation to be one
Is that King's Avatar? Then I feel like that's the only anime that I know that's Chinese, other than Lord of Mysteries, Link Click, To Be Hero X. I've never seen King's Avatar, by the way.
Hot shows to watch, and in my eyes, their crowning achievement of 2025 came in the form of To Be Hero X. This is China's own take into the superhero genre that asks the question, what would society be like if people could gain superpowers based on the social media influence they have? India is now a world superpower. OnlyFans is more powerful than Disney. But in the world of To Be Hero X, anyone can gain superpowers as long as you are able to convince the masses to believe in you. Trust is how you gain power in this world. People's mass perceptions dictate not only who becomes a superhero, but
what your powers
they get and the life they lead. There's Furman, a firefighter who saved a young girl from a falling ceiling that went viral, gaining him the power of incredible strength and invulnerability at the expense of never being able to take a proper shit ever again because he can never bend over thanks to his immovable image. Then there's this guy.
Nice as
League of Legends chat lobby. The risk with a series like this is that you lack a central protagonist to be able to follow the story through, but it more than makes up for it by being able to explore a multitude of interesting ideas with the premise that they've set up. Not every story is as equally compelling as the next, but every hero is wholly distinct both thematically and visually. Slowly but surely, you are able to piece together the timeline of events and see it all come together at the end. And if that wasn't enough for a reason to watch it, then there's also Hero X, who has the interesting ability to run through a season's worth of animation budget every time he snaps his fingers.
Nah, he did.
Outside of the unique world setting and power system, this has some of the coolest action sequences I've seen in an animated TV series. And if that still isn't enough for a reason to jump on, watch it because the creators of the TV series. And if that still isn't enough for a reason to jump on action sequences I've seen in an animated TV series. And if that
is that the commoner? You know, it's not nice. I haven't seen him for so long. I think
that still isn't
pay
enough
attention
for a
to him
reason
at the
to jump
end.
on. Watch it because the creator's a pretty cool guy. Also, I don't know where I heard that one from.
You know him. Cool.
Of course, there's a lot of misery, but it is the same misery that is all around us.
Oh, I love this.
The trees here are in misery, and the birds
are
in
it's
misery.
original
I don't think they sing, they just screech in pain.
My goat.
I remember the first time I watched the movie Requiem for a Dream, a movie so shockingly powerful that it disturbed me to my core, yet allowed me to experience emotions few pieces of fictions had been able to make me feel. Its message has left an imprint on me that remains to this day and continues to be one of those films I'm glad I experienced but never wanted to watch again. I said exactly the same thing to myself after watching Takopi's Original Sin. This is one of those shows that leaves you completely drained, giving you the sinking feeling that drops down to the pit of your stomach at the end of every episode. Genre? Drama? No. This is a straight-up horror anime for your emotions. It's about an alien,
I thought it was comedy.
The planet's happy. All he wants to do is spread smiles and happiness without a single shred of negativity. He's the type of guy who'd hear about a racism problem and try to solve it by running. Now pair him with the Trauma Trio, 3 kids whose collective future therapist bill would equal the GDP of Norway. That's right.
Hey, little buddy, how are you doing? Oh my god! Whoa!
It's Japanese Smiling Friends. This is a series that wastes no time into throwing you into the absolute deep end of emotional trauma and letting you sink further from there. Watching the first episode of Takopi is like...
Oh, the hypes! Oh, the
files. The series just continues pounding your emotions into the ground. It presents you with some of the heaviest subjects a child can go through with no filters to help avert your eyes. If I had a nickel for every time one of these kids got whipped by a belt, I'd have 0 nickels. Because their parents used a fist. Everyone is an asshole. Everyone is the worst kind of human they can possibly be. Then when you're shown that faint ray of sunlight at the end of the tunnel, your first instinct is to think, oh no. But that's not to say there is...
The sting by the girl's eye is such a strong visual. It's like, even after the scene is over, I have to put my face down because... it's just, wow.
No point or...
And yes, watching TV by myself is way different than watching it with people. I'm not distracted by commentary. I'm not distracted by someone else's joke. I'm not thinking about what someone else just said. I'm focused on my thoughts and the TV alone. So, yeah. Certain things would bother me more than by myself. Or even if I'm with my wife, hypothetically, because we have a different vibe than when I'm with director. I don't know. This is different.
of this suffering. For how despicable some of these actions you witness are, it constantly reminds you that the biggest villains are the parents who failed them. Parental neglect, physical abuse, and worst of all, a law-accurate Asian mom.
A lore-accurate Asian mom.
Each kid is a product of their own toxic environment, and for how suffocatingly pessimistic this show can be, it never devolves into being downright cynical. It's an important reminder of how trauma can be passed on, how the worst environments can shape the worst people, and no matter how hard life can be, nothing is more suffocating than having to deal with it alone. Because in the end, aren't the friends we made, the trauma bonding we did along the way? Wait, is that how he goes?
I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I think this guy's a lost cause. He's obviously made up his mind. Why don't we just cut our losses and get out of here?
Settle up! 2026 is now officially the year of the horse.
But
unfortunately, Uma Musume didn't get that memo.
Cinderella.
Because like your typical gacha gamer, it came a bit early.
They're coming early. That's funny.
This was the year the internet collectively fell into the Uma Musume rabbit hole, and Cinderella Grey embodies every damn reason of why this franchise became a global phenomenon. This was the highest intensity, no bullshit, all action sports anime to come out in 2025, delivering that level of jump out you see hype in every single episode you put on. You are given little room to breathe, going from one race to the next, every match injecting that burst of adrenaline your body starts to crave. If you were living under a rock last year, yes, there is a gacha game of the same IP, yes, this is anthropomorphized horse girls running against each other based on real historic races in Japan, which I've already talked about when I covered the show last month, but you don't need to know any of that to enjoy the spectacle it delivers. That rush as you witness that last eruption is as addictive as any drug. You hear the roar of the crowd as the commentator eggs them on, as you watch athletes digging deeper than they ever have before. Suddenly, this janky-ass anime girl run becomes the most hype thing you've ever seen.
Yeah!
As you shout out, God,
I haven't seen part 2 though.
Performance looks like.
Damn, that's crazy.
You calm down, switch on the next episode, and experience it all again. Wait, that last paragraph sounded familiar. Was that ChatGPT? No, in fact, it was GigGPT, because I just copied it from myself. I've already said everything I have to say about it in that video, so I'll just let ChatGPT rewrite my own work to tell you again, in the style of Gigguk. That moment when the final hits, your monkey brain just activates. The crowd is screaming. The commentator is absolutely losing it. The athletes are pushing past every physical limit known to mankind. And suddenly, this janky, low FPS anime girl run has your full, undivided soul. You're sitting there like, why am I this invested? As you stand up,
does happen.
God, this is peak human performance. At your screen, like you've just witnessed the second coming. But it's
that's actually a dope entrance.
Questionable animation shortcuts, and then it ends. You blink. You remember you're an adult. You sigh, click the next episode, and willingly let it happen to you all over again, because anime has once again tricked you into feeling emotions through sheer bullshit and spectacle.
Bullshit and spectacle.
What do you think I sound like?
The wanker.
You can go watch my actual video if you want to hear everything I have to say about it better than GigGPT ever could. Okay, I promise I'm going to stop glazing my own work now. Anyway, number 3. Ban, the boundaries of adulthood. This was a new anime made.
Ain't that his own show? Yo, he's real slick.
By a fairly new creator in the industry.
That's funny. Nah, do it. Do it. What's happening? What's happening here? What's happening?
Attention spans are fucked. Memes are incomprehensible. I can't be the only one who feels like every day I see something that makes me lose IQ until my last remaining brain cells are stuck there on life support, powering the last bit of sentient thought I have. But this year, there was no show that healed my soul more than watching Apocalypse Hotel.
Wait a second.
Thought I have. But this year, there was no show that healed my soul more than watching Apocalypse Hotel. In an era of brain rot, this one gave me pure brain ripe. Apocalypse Hotel is a different kind of slice of life. It has all the hallmarks that make up the genre. A quieter, subdued approach to storytelling, charming characters, a whimsical, bright air that complements its calming atmosphere. And then you keep watching. Okay, maybe there's a bit of brain rot in this one. Doomslayer Tanukis, Power Rangers fighting Kangaroo
Oh, this is cool.
A fucking mech battle in the middle of a desolate cityscape. You can put on an episode and have no idea what kind of unhinged shenanigans you're going to encounter next.
Oh, I see. It reminds me of that deer anime.
It constantly delivers a story with a heart few series are able to reach. A door-opening robot that fails at opening doors. A hospitality robot with no one left to serve. A hotel that opens to a place with a population of 0. This is a world with no meaning, where characters are forced to find their own.
Aww.
How is it? Do you find purpose? In a place
That was a
where
good
there is
description.
none? Watching this band of lovable misfits allows you to reflect about the purpose you may be missing from your own life. It's a show so hopelessly optimistic, steeped in layers of melancholy. A story set in a bleak place where no hope should be able to be found, yet it still is able to greet you with the warmest smile. Where years, decades, centuries pass in the blink of an eye, characters you love age, move on. All that is familiar around you slowly begins to change, always reminding you that time will continue to move, with or without you. It may be painful,
I like this.
but it's life, and it can be a lot brighter if you let it be.
Slice of life is hit or miss
might
with
just
me.
be my favorite
Oh.
slice of life episode of all time. An episode that breaks convention. It doesn't try to be entertaining. It doesn't try to tell you everything. It sits you down, shuts out the noise around you, and allows you to just feel. Ending it with a line that made me stop, walk away for a moment, and remind myself that through all the chaos, life can be pretty damn wonderful. This is the kind of magical feeling this show gives you. It doesn't just show you a slice of life, it reminds you what living that life means in the first place.
What? Oh, what?
Was this supposed to be the end?
Oh, My Hero. He's actually going to talk about this one? Probably because it's the finale. It deserves it.
Shonen action shows
Then
are the lifeblood
I wonder
of
what
the
he has
anime
as number
industry.
one.
They are the most popular, have the most influence, and are very often some of the very first anime we end up watching. It's
Yeah.
these shows that help shape a young
meant for a
generation
younger
of people,
audience.
and I certainly can't forget what they instilled into me. As a kid too young to understand anything, I saw heroes fighting against evil to protect the things they stand for. They stood up for those who couldn't, represented all the good in the world, and though I grew up and realized the real world isn't as simple or idealistic as the one portrayed in the realm of fiction, it's these stories that help set me on the right path. It gave me hope. It gave me role models. It taught me about the person I should aspire to be. To me, this is what shonen is meant to be about. This is the shonen I grew up with. This is the shonen I know, and I don't think many shows have distilled that concept down as purely as My Hero Academia has.
Purely.
Regular viewers will know that I've had an up and down relationship with this franchise. I instantly fell in love in season 1, watched it explode in popularity in season 2 and 3, then gradually fell out of favor as other shows took the spotlight.
Yep.
But I always kept watching in hopes that it could at least end with a bang.
Yep.
Now, 10 years later,
It
I
did.
can wholeheartedly say,
It did.
boy, did it ever.
It did. This is our story. All for One was like, it's mine.
Final season delivered a
My
spectacle
story,
worthy
you're a
of the
side
legacy of the
character.
league. And now that's all over. Looking back, I feel like My Hero Academia came out in a strange transitionary period. In a time where its contemporaries were getting darker, getting weirder, getting bloodier. It almost felt like MHA was the squeaky clean, straight-laced student in a classroom of delinquents. And yet, it
What a good
managed
way
to
of putting
achieve
it.
what so many long-running series have failed to do. For after 10 years of characters, action, drama, and development, it was able to close out standing tall, shouting a clear and concise message for the world to hear that stayed completely true to what it always was.
Agreed.
Anyone can be a hero. Anyone should try to be a hero, even if it's just for the people around you. It's hopeful. It's optimistic. It's somewhat maybe cheesy, but it is very My Hero Academia. This may not go down in history as everyone's favorite show, but I will remember it as a
I will
testament
too.
of what the beating heart of shonen should
I will
be.
too.
We will always need heroes. We will always need hope. We will always need a story like this.
Yes.
And at the end of this era, I'm glad it was there to remind us one last time.
Plus Ultra? Yeah. Go beyond. Yeah. Can't hate on My Hero Academia. I had the same journey as him. Ups and downs. Fell in love with season 1, all that. Somewhere along the way, I'm like, I don't really know. And he is right. One thing I never considered until like now is, yeah, around the time when I was feeling the fall off, yo, Jujutsu Kaisen was running like, yo, this is heat. Then saw Chainsaw Man, they did get darker, and I started to compare it to some of that, you know, because when you watch in My Hero Academia, happy-go-lucky characters, side characters, where it became important for the finale of My Hero Academia, which I won't spoil for you, but it was like, yeah, these are side characters, and everyone can be a hero, so they matter. That's the message. I don't care for the side characters, but I can't deny that that was part of the message, and they executed it well. So it's like, of course you don't care about that person, but, you know, that person plays an instrumental role in society, or they can. And sometimes a show, I'll use She-Hulk, for example. She-Hulk was making fun of itself. It was making fun of men, and it knew it was making fun of men. And there's a certain point where just because you know you're doing something, it doesn't mean that you did it well. It doesn't mean that your final execution was well. In the sense of My Hero Academia, they knew what they were doing. The friendliness, the hope, the cheesiness, the side characters, the kumbaya, that anyone could be a hero. And they did it well. Or at least they executed it well, and they closed on it well. And it's like, yeah, whether or not, even though I'm for the villains and all that other stuff, it's like, y'all did your thing. Y'all did your thing. And they did well by the villains. Shigaraki, I won't go spoil it, but the way Shigaraki went out, it's like, yeah, man, he stayed Shigaraki. All for one, for the most part, he stayed all for one until that one line. I'm like, yo, are you low-key a bitch? Are you low-key a bitch? But we're going to move on from that. We're going to move on from that. They did a fantastic job, especially in their clothes. I'm sorry. Back to My Hero Academia. The thing is, all the moments of My Hero Academia that I don't like are basically fixed with the way My Hero Academia ends. If I knew how My Hero Academia was going to end while I was watching the parts I don't like, I would have liked it because I obviously know it's going to go. So now that I saw how it ended, even though I have a bad first-time experience with some of those moments, I had no issue with it because I saw how it ended. I was like, yeah, it was worth it. They had to do that. There was no way to get that great ending in the manner that they wanted it depicted if we didn't go on that specific journey. And of course, the writer, you know, certain things he just told better than other things. So anyways, it's fantastic. Let's get into Orb. I knew that what it was. Movements of the Earth. He has it as number one. Deserved. I know this and 100 meters are in the same guy, but I prefer this show.
In my line of work, I watch a lot of shows. I remember a lot of shows, but rarely do I have the time to go back and rewatch them. It's only when something...
Someone who gets it. His memory is better than mine. Probably he takes notes or something, or he watches it in private. That's another reason. I don't know how he watches it, but I'm sure he is smarter and has the ability to remember things.
It truly lingers.
Anyways,
a story that grabs hold.
Can't rewatch shows all the time.
Occupies my mind whenever I have a free moment. That one line that sticks with me not because it was witty or punchy, but because it touched on something deep, something meaningful, something real. I've rewatched Orb, On the Movements of the Earth, more times this year than any other shows from the past 10 years, and yet I am still as moved, as awestruck, as absolutely mesmerized as the first time I watched it. Why am I telling you all this?
You can't tell?
This was a show that, when half done, I put as 4th on my list last year, not knowing that when I finished the entire thing, it would become my anime of the decade. That's a big statement, and you may not agree. You may have other shows you prefer. It may not have hit you the same way it hits me, but that is my truth. And for a moment, I wanted to invite you to see what that truth meant. A show like this comes along only a few times in a generation. It is not only one of the most original, beautiful, and nigh on unpredictable series to come out in modern times, but it's one of those stories that has the power to teach you something about yourself.
Yes.
Without preaching, without telling you what's correct. It presents you with profound ideas and helps guide you to find your own answers.
Yes.
Orb is an anime about heliocentrism. them. It's about proving the Earth moves around the sun, but also it's a story about truth, about people who fight for truth, about the lengths people will go to prove truth, about people who have their truths challenged and respond to it without disrespecting the person that challenged it. An egotistical priest putting his trust in the wisdom of a peasant, a devout believer defending the words of an atheist. The heroes of the story are not the ones who are right, it's the ones who are willing to accept that they could be wrong, who will listen to those that oppose them and try to understand.
Ooh, that's so true.
Even if they don't necessarily agree. These are the people that embody the human spirit, that together ignite a flame that transcends lifetimes. Every character is memorable, every line powerful, every journey poetic. This is simply one of the most beautiful stories I've ever witnessed. And the more time that has passed since I first finished it, the more times I've rewatched it over this year, the stronger its message has resonated with me as I looked out and saw the world as it is today. Unlike the world of Orb, we live in a time when information is more readily available than it ever has been, and yet truth has never felt so hard to find. Technology that should have allowed us to grow closer has divided us even further. Knowledge is no longer the currency we lack. It's trust. A lack of trust that has eroded the respect we have of our fellow person. Ideas are not built on, they are condensed down, dismantled, and publicly shamed. Everyone is a soldier, enlisted to fight in an ideological war of exchanges, where common ground is no man's land and the winner is decided not by who is more right, but who can prove the other side more wrong.
Yes.
How does anyone navigate the landscape we are currently in? And I think that's why I was just so constantly drawn back to this series. A story like this is the reminder I needed that the world doesn't have to work like this. That progress is made through collaboration, not dissociation. That, disagree or not, we are still in this together, in an era that will be shaped by our collective hands.
Comrades who build an era together.
Whether any of us have the right answer or not, it's thanks to this show that I remembered, as long as you can continue to question whether you are right.
As long as you can continue. Yes. Yes.
You won't find the wrong answer.
I like that close. I like that close. And I felt the same way. Going back to Orb, when a character admitted they were wrong or they might be wrong, I felt like I respected them or I was excited. You know, I also got excited when someone discovers something for the first time, but the growth was acknowledging that you are wrong, which I try and be personally, just kind of venting. My annoyance is when I'm dealing with people who are sure, so sure, and they don't listen to the opposing side of view, especially when you're discussing nuance. It's like, how could you know? Or how could you invalidate that person's opinion like that or that person's point of view? And that's you know, we're talking about the information age. That's how comment sections are so totally. And it's the arrogance in people's response. Like what you said was dumb. You know, and it's like, man, if you miss one subtitle, right, or if you saw it from this point of view, or if you had this particular life experience, you would have saw things the same way too, or you would have saw things similarly, you know? And yeah, we have so much information, but you can't decipher what's real or what's not real. How do I know anything just because I read it? Just because it's on CNN, that don't mean it's real. Just because it's on Fox News doesn't mean it's real. Just because the president said it doesn't mean it's real. Just because the nation says a country is supposed to be our enemy doesn't mean that. Because the leaders might not be operating in the best interest of your nation. They might be operating the best for themselves. Heck, they might be bought by another nation to put themselves in odds with this nation so that these two powers can destroy themselves so this other power can rise. I mean, we don't know anything. And the thing is, we almost never knew. We almost never knew. But there is no but. There is no but. Oh, there is. I think, and I could be wrong on this, I think the difference is how confident people are about their information and how little they are open to being wrong. And it's actually just exactly what he said. People are sure of it. because they read it on something or they saw a YouTube video on it. I was like, how do you know? I go through this with my kids sometimes. She's like, hey, Dad, did you know X, Y, and Z happened? I was like, how'd you find that out? YouTube? And I had to explain to her, like, that's just because a YouTuber said it don't mean it's true. We both have YouTube channels. It don't take nothing for us to go on this YouTube channel, say nonsense, and other people will believe it. Too many people all of us have tools to information, and the majority of us are too confident in its accuracy without the ability to verify it. We need to approach conversations knowing that the sources that we got these informations may not be reliable. That's what I read on this website, X, Y, and Z. I heard on this website. I heard from so-and-so, right? I don't say I know. I've read. To the best of my knowledge, this is what I've found. As far as I know, this is what I know. And it's like, you know what? I'll listen to your argument. Sometimes I'll listen to an argument. I'm like, wait a second. Are we having this disagreement because you and I don't agree on, I don't know. I need to think of something trivial. Let me pause this video so I could think. All right. So we have a meal plan. Okay. And we agree on what we should make. And we disagree on the pepperoni pizza. We agree that we should serve pizza, but no. We don't agree on it. We just having a disagreement on pepperoni pizza. Like, I want pepperoni pizza. And you're like, we can't have pepperoni pizza. And we argue about it. And then we think about it. Are we arguing because you don't want to serve pizza? Or are we arguing because you don't agree on pepperoni pizza? And it's like, oh no, I'm fine with pizza. This is pepperoni pizza because I have a pork allergy. Oh! Because all I care about is the pizza. Yo, it could have been cheese pizza. Yo, we could put some steak on it. We could have like 5 layers of cheese. So if our disagreement is only in the pepperoni, let's just put that aside and move forward in the parts that we do agree on. Why are we spending all this time arguing about the pepperoni and now we're both starving, right? And no progress is happening. We'll argue the whole day about what to eat because I definitely want pizza. It just doesn't have to be a pepperoni. And you're willing to eat anything. So you just kept arguing about the pepperoni. You're willing to eat anything but pepperoni. See, you're willing to eat anything but pepperoni. And I'm willing to eat any pizza. I just don't want pepperoni. See how we can compromise? And we can just work together? So when I'm having an argument or a discussion with somebody, sometimes I'm like, oh, this is the part that we disagree on. I don't even worry about that. That part is actually a minute detail in my grand plan. Yeah, fine. I don't even care. Whether it's true or not, it's not a big deal. And now we both can basically have our way or compromise on something or move forward or at least understand. I could say, oh, I see why we disagree. Because pepperoni is important to you. Oh, I see where we disagree. The cow is a god in your religion. Of course you don't want to eat that. Of course. I just have to know about that. We'll eat something else, you know? Anyways, thanks for listening. I thought it was a great video. Orb also inspired me very, 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 very much. I think I became a better person after watching Orb. I really did. And this scene at the end, baby girl at the end, I'm probably not going to get it as I'm fast forwarding. But you know who I'm talking about. I won't be able to pull it up. Oh, right here. This lady, goated character. People would just say amazing dialogue, and it was better than a shonen fight. Anyways, good video, Gigguk. I guess I'll react to this once a year. Thank you, Shadow. If you guys got dope videos to recommend, use the comment section, but preferably, you guys see that Twitter is the best place for suggestions. I bookmark things that are dope. I always get my notifications. The algorithm isn't hiding stuff from me. Look at this. Someone has sent me. Probably somewhere going crazy. I actually didn't like her toes on this one. They look like Flintstone toes. But I don't have a problem with her character. I assume that's why I'm being tagged in this photo. All right, y'all. Peace.